FastAPI now has a more modern way of declaring path parameters. So here we have an example of a FastAPI app with a user's endpoint with path parameters of a user ID and post ID, where we are doing a path parameter of a user ID greater than 1 and post ID greater than 1 or less than 100. And we do it simply by just converting it to this syntax right here, stating the type of an annotated class with the first argument passing in the type for the variable that we have. And then the metadata or the second argument is going to be the path parameter function with all of the required stuff that we have. And we can actually get rid of these dots here. The annotated class keeps your actual default values separate from the metadata used by FastAPI. This works better with editors, type checkers, and the automatically generated OpenAPI docs. We can go and pull up the terminal and go ahead and run our app. Then we can go and head into the browser. And here we'll go and open up this read user post endpoint. Try it out. And we can see that the validations for our parameters are still here at the bottom. So going off on another example we had from the last video, I will show you how I convert this with the annotated approach as the recommended modern pattern. So we can do it like this. We can create some kind of variable. So in this case, item ID is equal to annotated with the first argument being the type that we want, so a string, and the second argument being the path function that we would use normally in FastAPI. In this case, we don't have an ellipsis at the beginning or a default of none or default of whatever you want. We pass whatever arguments we want to into this function, and then we can use this later. So same thing with item amount. So here in this function called getItem, we're having a GET request for our items endpoint with a path parameter of item ID and an amount. And then we go declare our parameters here of item ID as the type of the item ID we had above, here with the annotated path. And then same thing with the amount. Then we'll go ahead and return these in the response. So we will go ahead and head to the docs endpoint for our application, and we'll go ahead and open up this request right here for this endpoint. Go ahead and hit try it out, and we'll add some numbers here. Go ahead and hit execute, scroll down, and we can see there was a 200 response, returning the item ID and the amount. Of course, if we come up here and put 0 or some long string, we get these validation errors. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.